Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So today is the day we talk about the portfolio. We've talked about the dividends that we received in the last month, all the income from the rental property, from the dividends, and I have also given you my overview of what I'm doing here and why I'm doing things in the last video. So if you haven't watched that one, go and watch that one first, then come back to this one, inshallah. Okay. So this one here, I'm gonna go over everything that we've basically bought in this month, and we bought quite a lot, and anything sales that we've made in this month. And then I'm gonna talk about certain individual companies, and I'll show you the whole portfolio, obviously the value of it and some of the stocks and so on. I'll give you individual information about some of the stocks, but if you want to know exactly what I'm going to do in the long run with some of these companies, okay, go and watch this video that I did about a week ago, where I said basically I valued every stock I own in my trading 212 portfolio. Okay, just watch that one where I actually talked about every single individual stock that I have and what I'm going to do with it in the long run. Okay, so if you haven't seen that one, that's a good one to watch, but I'm going to give you a quick overview of the portfolio. So first of all, like I've always said to you guys, this is definitely not financial advice. You just need to make sure that you're doing your own research to find out what these companies do and if they are a good investment for you. Okay, everything I'm doing here is sharing my own journey. That doesn't mean you should copy exactly the portfolio and buy everything, because you will see in today's video there will be some companies that I might sell soon, and you're buying it now maybe when it's too high, and I'm selling it when it's too expensive, or whatever the case might be. So my thesis might change, my opinion of these companies might change, the reasons why I bought them in the first place could potentially change, which then means I will sell and look for other opportunities. So I don't want you to copy these things as they are. Obviously, do your due diligence and use this as a guide, hopefully. Okay, and if you have any specific questions about specific stocks, then obviously let me know. Don't forget to join us on the Patreon account, where you get access to all the spreadsheets that I use, some of which I will be using today. You will also get to the basically a copy of the Sharia compliant investment ebook that I put together. This is my first draft. Inshallah, I'm gonna do a few more. I'm gonna make it better, inshallah. Obviously, that was to the first draft, and I wanted to share with you guys some of the things to look for when you're buying a new stock, especially if you are new. That might be a good starting point. Okay, then you also get to basically any buys and sells that I make and so on. Because I've been basically just did Hajj recently, I haven't actually had the chance to answer some of your questions. So in the next couple of days, I will be answering a lot of your questions in the Discord, in the here as well, in the Patreon account, as well as obviously in the when you write things on the video descriptions and so on the comment sections. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you first all the buys and sells for this month, and then I will show you the individual stocks. So there were no sales for this month, so the month of June. The only stock that I sold a while back, that was the one I shared with you, Adobe. And because Adobe was not a dividend paying company, I'm going to try at my best, okay, to keep this portfolio just dividend paying companies. That doesn't mean I'm not going to own any non-dividend companies. Okay, I could potentially add, if I need to, I could add them in the family portfolio. If you're new to the channel, then the family portfolio is basically something that I don't really share, because it's for the family. Okay, it's a very small portfolio in comparison to this one, and the money that comes from my rental property goes straight into that portfolio, and sometimes I add a little bit more and so on. So the kids pick what they want, and I just add it there. So because it's a family portfolio, I'm just going to keep that secret. However, I've actually shared with you guys on the Discord and in here, so at times, some of the stocks that are in there, obviously, but I can't share the whole portfolio as it is. Right, so let's start with this. Okay, so there were no sales this month, but as you can see, I bought 7.5 shares. Okay, if you haven't seen the video where I talked about basically spending £2,000 worth of basically on stocks, then watch that video. You will see basically why I decided to add to these companies and where that money came from and so on. So 7.5 shares of Visa, and as you can see, it gave me about £9 in terms of total dividends or total income. Basically, I put more UPS for 5 shares of UPS. That gave me about 21 You can pause the video and have a quick look if you need to. Okay, £21. Rio Tinto, about just 4 shares, £16. AstraZeneca is one of the companies that I'm actually buying more of. And luckily, I got a chance a couple of days ago where it actually went down about 6%. So I bought more of this company, but I haven't included that because it was just that one was for July. So I'm going to leave that one out. £14 in terms of dividends. Automatic data processing, or ADP, actually just bought 1 share of this company. £3 on 34 pence. J&J, I just bought 1 share. That gives me about £3.18. And by the way, this is after the 15% US whatever it's called, the tax, for example. Okay, next one is RB, which is really one of the companies I really like, and I've been buying heavily in the last few months. And well, not last few months, but last just about the last, since January basically, I've been buying more of this company. I think I own about 60 shares right now. I'll share that with you guys in a second, but that pays me about £7.5, which is really nice. Procter & Gamble just bought 1.3 shares, again because this is so overvalued right now. I'm just gonna buy a little bit here and there wherever I get a chance. If the market's drop about 2-3% here and there, I will be adding to this company. That gives me about $3.26 pence. Now Nike is the only green one. The green one is because this is the only new stock that I bought for this month. Okay, all of these companies I've had them in my portfolio for a very long time, and I'm just adding to it. What I've decided recently is to not buy loads of different stocks and so on, and build the positions that I've already have, and buy the ones that are undervalued at the moment, at the same time trying to keep track of the overall sectors as well. And what I mean by that is, for example, I'm mindful of not buying a lot of more technology companies, because my portfolio right now, 25% is actually information technologies. A lot of the technology companies in there. Industrial is another one that I actually didn't even know it was basically growing that much, so it's now 23% of my portfolio, whereas everything else is basically about 14%, 10%, 10%, 8%, and so on. So what I've decided to do now is be mindful of, unless I find it really basically one of the tech companies down so much, right, I'm not going to add to it. Industrials is also similar sort of a situation, so I'm going to try to build the healthcare. That's why I'm buying a lot more AstraZeneca, and possibly be buying a lot more Medtronics in the next few weeks. But consumer staples is a difficult one because some of the companies are overvalued, so that's why I'm actually buying a lot more RB right now, and wherever I get the chance, I'm going to buy Procter & Gamble as well. Finance, I think I'm going to leave it for now. I will share that with you guys in a second. Materials is also another one that I'm buying more of, like Rio Tinto and so on. Consumer discretionary, I've actually started now. Obviously, the Nike, for example, is basically under this consumer discretionary. So I'm going to build this to be at least 10 to 15% in the next few months, because consumer discretionary I have actually not touched it for a long time, and I'm buying more of real estate as well. Okay, so all the sectors that I've talked about so far, I will not be adding to companies, for example, like Visa, companies like United Parcel Services, Rio Tinto, basically AstraZeneca's, and so on. So I will J&J, Public Storage, RB, Procter & Gamble, and Nike. These are the companies that will be added more to in the next few weeks. Now, £3,221 is basically what I spent just this month. A lot of that money came from, in fact, the sale of, not a lot of it, half of it, less than half, I think, of that came from the sale of Adobe. But a lot of that money came from my account, especially this money here actually came straight from the account. So some months I like to add a little bit more, and as you can see, I've actually added that in one day, and then since then I've been adding a list. Basically, I think I've added about closer to £2,000 just this month. Just okay, although my 1 month £1,000 is my target, some months I add a bit more than that. Okay, now let's now have a look at, as you can see, by the way, in terms of total dividend, that adds about £70 to the overall total income for this portfolio, which right now, if we look at, stands at £1,883 in terms of dividends. That gives me about monthly income of 156. Obviously, like you've seen in the last video, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Okay, and I've been tracking the portfolio performance overall. Okay, the basically in terms of performance is actually doing all right. It's actually done better than the S&P 500 for the month of June. Okay, maybe a lot of that came from because the fact that I've added more money. Right, let's now look at the individual stocks for the next couple of minutes, and then I'm going to stop the video. Okay, 3M. Right, what am I going to do with this company? I literally have no idea. Some days I want to sell it, take the hit, and buy another company that's worth this, okay, and hopefully get the money through basically to buying another undervalued company that is more growth oriented than this one. This one to me right now is almost a dead company. They paid me some nice dividends, but they have so much legal situation going on. There's 2 different lawsuits going on right now, and it's a mess. Even if they come out of this and they pay off these people, it's still a mess because the growth is not there for the company to be able to sustain this sort of a dividends, as well as obviously these legal situations. Are they ever going to go away? I'm not sure what's going on. So sooner or later, I might have to take a hit. Okay, I might have to take a hit and just then take this money, opportunity cost, and just use that money somewhere else. Air products and chemicals, I've talked about that in basically the video, the what I mentioned to you guys earlier. If you haven't watched that video, go and watch that one there. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly, you can pause the video, you can have a look at it, but I'm gonna talk about individual companies that I want to talk about more of. Okay, and if you want to see more details of each one of these companies, watch that video. Automatic data processing, I'm not touching it right now. I'm gonna leave it for a bit. As Rosenica is definitely one I'm actually adding more to. I think I want to get at least 30 shares of this company in the next few months, so I will be buying more of that company. What else do I need to talk about? Commons, I think I might buy a little bit. Okay, 3 more shares. I think I will see how it goes. What else have I got? This I have completely neglected. So, and it's gone up actually nicely. Look at this, 11% up. It's about £100 up right now. I've got companies that I've got like £3,000 and I'm down at 7%, and this one I'm actually up quite a bit. So it's done actually really well. So I will be adding more to this ETF in the next few weeks, and definitely. What else do I need to talk about? Nike is definitely one that I started recently, and I'm gonna continue buying more of that. I want to make this company at least 5% of my overall portfolio. What else? Public storage is one that I actually started this week, so I'm gonna continue buying it. I want to get at least to 20 shares, inshallah. So we'll see how it goes, but I want to make this company. This is really good company. They have almost no debt. Is basically one of the fastest growing REITs out there, and I really like their business model. The storage places in the US is absolutely mad. I've realized I was watching a CNBC documentary recently where they were talking about the storage places that they have in the US and companies like extra storage and public storage. They talked about loads of different companies, and apparently in the US people buy so much junk, they just store them in these places and then leave them there forever. I was like, why would you buy so much stuff and then store it and then pay someone else to look after it? It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, Qualcomm, I'm not touching it right now, so I wanted it to come basically back down again, maybe to $100 per share if I'm going to look at it again. RB is definitely one I'm buying, so I'm actually 51 shares. I want to get to 60 shares of this company, so we'll see how it goes. Rio Tinto I'm buying. I'm not touching any of these other companies, inshallah, in the next few weeks. And as you can see right now, I've got 26 companies in there. This one, H&M, it was a free share that I've received, so excluding that one is 25 companies in there overall. Okay, so that's it. That's the portfolio. You've seen the dividends the dividends I received for the month of June. You've seen the portfolio. You've seen all the buys and sells for this month. Okay, if you want to join us on the Discord to keep up with everything that's happening, okay, let me know, inshallah. None of these companies are non-Sharia compliant right now as far as I'm concerned. I've been mindful of that recently. Okay, I'm buying companies with low debt and so on. So some of them might get closer to that 30%, whatever, but obviously I'm going to use from now on the 36 months average rather than just using yearly, because that way you're going to lose a lot of money and stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go and have a read this ebook that I've actually included everything that I'm talking about right now. Anyway, that's it. I've got more videos coming up, inshallah, looking at a couple of companies that are undervalued that you can buy for the month of June, inshallah. Have a wonderful day. The US market, by the way, is closed today, so I think it opens tomorrow. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, I think doesn't even open tomorrow. I think it opens the day after tomorrow, because of the 4th of July, whatever. But the UK and the European companies are basically, stocks are trading today, as you can see here. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.